everyone. Welcome to another edition of Thursday Thoughts with Pastor Pat. I am Pastor Pat, pastor of St. John's United Church of Christ in Weldon Spring, Missouri, and this is my weekly video blog on what I'm thinking on Thursday as we're approaching Sunday morning worship. This coming Sunday is February 16th, 2025. It is the sixth Sunday after Epiphany, and the text is the sixth chapter of Luke, verses 17 through 26. It is the Sermon on the Plain. Matthew has a Sermon on the Mount. Luke has a Sermon on a Plain. And similar to the Sermon on the Mount, Luke also on the Sermon on the Plain records Jesus saying something similar to the Beatitudes of the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew. But what makes Luke's account different is that it claims it has the blessings of the Beatitudes, but it also has woes to people as well too, and so it's kind of a good news, bad news thing. So bring your good news, bad news jokes with you on Sunday. I'd like to hear them. But what I'm mostly thinking of is tomorrow, because tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and so I dug into some of the history of Valentine's Day, and because I didn't really know much about. I knew that there was a Saint Valentine, but I didn't really know much about him and some of the history, and I was kind of intrigued by what I found. But there is actually three martyrs who are recognized as saints. So they get kind of mixed. So their legends get kind of mixed up and jumbled. But essentially, one of the most well-known saints, Saint Valentine, was a 3rd century priest who was martyred and beheaded by Claudius, the emperor, and he was put to death because he was marrying people in secret. He was performing weddings in secret because Claudius found that people or men fought better, single men fought better than married men. Married men had too much to lose, so he made it illegal for young men to get married. And in rebellion of this law, Saint Valentine went ahead and married men and women anyway, and was put to death for it. And while one of the Saint Valentines was imprisoned, awaiting his capital punishment, he wrote a letter to someone he was in love with, a young woman, and he signed it "From Your Valentine." And that's where that saying kind of comes from. Please be my Valentine. I'm your Valentine. It comes from this saint from long time ago. But you may be wondering, why do we celebrate on February 14th? Why is it observed then? Well, there's a long history there, and there's some complications, but most likely it was settled on February 14th for a couple of reasons. One, it may have been when the one of the saints was martyred, but it also probably more likely has to do with the Roman pagan holiday Lupercalia, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, which was celebrated on the Ides of February, middle of February. And during the Middle Ages and beforehand, the Christian church had kind of a notoriety of taking over pagan holidays and making them and Christianizing them and making them their own. And it sounds like this might have been very similar. This festival, Lupercalia, was a fertility festival. And I won't go into all the details, but one part of it is that women during this festival were slapped with bloody strips of goat hide. And willingly would line up to have this because they felt it improved their chances of being fertile and then improved their chances of finding a husband or having a child. So by the end of the 5th century, Pope Gelasius declared that February 14th was St. Valentine's Day. So there you have it, some interesting history. I'd like to hear comment below, what are your plans for Valentine's Day, if you have plans for Valentine's Day. If you don't have any plans for Valentine's Day, leave me a good news, bad news joke. I would appreciate that as well, too. No one goes around slapping their spouses with bloody goat hides. Don't use this video as an excuse to do that. That is not cool. So I don't think Karen and I have decided. I think we're going to go out to eat, maybe to Ario's. People have been saying that that's pretty great, so we might check that out. But I hope to see you Sunday, 10 a.m. for worship. We will be talking more about Jesus and the Sermon on the Mount, and probably less about Valentine's Day, but I just kind of wanted to share some information with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Worship is at 10 a.m. in person in Weldon Spring, or right here on Facebook for our live stream. I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day. God bless. Bye-bye.